There's a great number of development scenarios or variants of your future manifestation, and it is you who decide in which of these already existing variants you will perceive yourself. Iissiidiology describes the future development scenarios that are based on the newest cosmological concepts of the universe and of the human being. These concepts give full details of creative and highly spiritual processes for developing a new human society based on harmonious, that is, humanistic relationships. In order to become a conscious and rightful participant of such a future, you need right now to develop a powerful aspiration for the worldwide creativity together with other people in the most interesting direction of your possible development. There comes a time on Earth when there is a drastic increase of realization possibilities for those highly intellectual and highly spiritual people who have sufficiently synthesized the so-called lower levels of self-consciousness and are potentially ready to gain a foothold in a much more perfect creativity. One of the axiomatic conceptions of Iissiidiology states about the holographic nature of the universe that's about simultaneous existence of many worlds or inherent presence of many variants of forms and events in the reality which is individually perceived by everyone.
Dynamic focuses of our perception can always potentially choose from among countless pre-programmed development scenarios due to the energy information essence and to the very nature of our self-consciousness. However, more variants of higher quality really become available to us only if our creativity shows a steady improvement. The higher its quality, the more interpretations of the outer reality we can use in order to really choose the most favorable scenarios.
In the nearest decades, a considerable amount of human self-consciousness forms will synthesize the capabilities that are necessary for a stable extension of active creative existence in more harmonious and more universal conditions, due to the molecular genetic reconstruction of their biological bodies coupled with the swift development of nanotechnologies.
The principles and methods of psychomental activity will become less dependent on the biological factors if human biology will be stable on high frequency levels of electromagnetic vibrations. This will result in a considerable change of the DNA activity, that is from low and mid-frequency levels to photon levels of manifestation of energy information interactions, while biochemical reactions will no longer be the determining factor. Even the medical treatment of the nearest future will be based on mental and feeling sets that make purposeful changes in vibration frequencies of cells, systems and organs of the body, that is, through wave modeling. People will be able to manipulate photons in order to create many new forms, unique kinds of intellectual matter in genetic plasma and genetic engineering, in cybergenetics and cyberbionics, in astrobiology and quantum designing. A variety of fascinating scientific development fields will emerge, which we cannot even imagine now.
People will be easily able to upload their minds into quantum computers and will use them to choose from existing models or to individually model manifestation forms with most desirable psychomental and external features. People will also use these computers to project necessary 3D images into their self-consciousness and to make distant transmission of their own mental images to others. The whole structure of communication and social relationships and the laws of society in the future continuums are completely in service for the benefit of each individual who is consciously striving towards a spiritual and intellectual development. Totally new programs will be started for the development of creativity in diverse fields of science, art, culture, economy and ecology. Augmentation and careful use of natural resources, including electric power and many food products, which will be mainly made of water air and recycled waste will become the primary task in the course of development of future humankind. All this will harmoniously correlate with abundant harvests of unprecedented, high-quality crops throughout all geographical regions, and any kind of food will be created by means of industrial and household-type quantum replicators. Such possibilities will arise owing to new technologies in general and to materialization in particular. Holography will be, of course, the main field of innovations. All holographic software will be freely available to anyone. You will be able to change the design of any interior. For example, you will be able to add a natural landscape inside your own house, which will look absolutely real and very impressive. Holography will enter every household, will become a usual and simply amazing, refining and inspiring factor in personal and social life. Realistic holograms will become more and more perfect and beautiful, and in a more distant future, they will combine active psychomental effects and high-speed holographic dynamics. We will be able to use them, for instance, as fixed furniture and parts of decoration, as well as really functional home appliances and other items of comfort.
Future construction mechanisms will be quite fascinating. This process will involve computer-operated robots. Like spiders, they will weave the web on the structure of necessary configuration. The robots will produce the construction liquid inside their bodies using air, light, and polymer materials pumped under high pressure. These materials will combine the strength of metals and the softness of silk. Almost all necessary products will be made of artificial materials, polymers and chronomers. That is, future materials that actively change their properties in a preset time. Various kinds of these materials will completely replace metals not only in electrical vehicles, but also in lifting and levitation equipment. Such equipment will include a special configuration of mutually intersecting fractal surfaces that are similar to the beacons, and stable anti-gravity effects will be created around them. This will provide the opportunity to manipulate enormous weights, easily moving them to any distance. For example, using a spaceship to move such cargoes at an approximate speed of 300 km per second. Together with the means of drastic rejuvenation of the biological organism, which will be discovered then, such achievements will become a powerful incentives for a new era of mass cosmic travels. There will be a partial creative merge of humans with oceanic civilizations in certain development scenarios. This will provide for wide-ranging and grandiose plans in research and exploration of water areas. Due to the new technological achievements, we will easily surmount any communication barriers in our relations with the oceanic and other civilizations. In certain development scenarios, the main requirement for such a commonwealth will be that all the participants of this creative consolidation will have to pass the wave deactivation of aggression genes within their DNA structure. In other scenarios, there will be such communication devices as theta characters, which will be able to make direct translation of our words into thoughts, and then to send them to special thought-reading sensors positioned in the temporal area of the head. These devices will be quickly replaced by various holographic modulators, pocket transtoners, and wristman timers that will considerably simplify mutual understanding between forms of self-consciousness that synthesize different aspects of qualities. In general, it will take not so much time to research and improve all the nuances of communication between civilizations.
In many worlds where Iissiidiology is being actively studied, even children understand that a conscious transmission of quanta of thoughts and feelings from one person to another to any distance is not only possible, but natural, because highly developed forms of self-consciousness have this inherent feature of energy plasma. Various technological innovations will provide for such a leap, of which scientists, economists, sociologists and politicians are completely unaware now. Nano and holographic technologies, based on the conceptions of rotationness and dual-alertness described in Iissiidiology, will not only give a clear understanding as to how it is practically possible to realize the personality immortality principle, but will also provide effective solutions of long-standing human dreams about telekinesis and telepathy, levitation and teleportation. Modern indigo children and those people who have managed to sacrifice all their animal instincts and selfish needs for the sake of highly spiritual and highly intellectual transformations that constantly happen within focused dynamics of their own self-consciousness become the creators of the most favorable variants of the future. The world around us will rapidly and irreversibly change, and its qualities will improve not only in terms of more and more extensive use of high technological achievements in our lives, but also in respect of more harmonious and balanced relationships in human society. Moreover, the degree of social and economic stratification of the new society will quickly decrease. When we become more humane, more intellectual and loving, we will be able to fly, teleport, communicate by our thoughts and feelings at a distance, see through any obstacles and will have many other abilities. This is because all of us inherently have these universal abilities. By becoming more altruistic and highly intellectual, we choose more favorable scenarios of our own development that include self-regeneration abilities of our bodies, as well as the improvement of our interpersonal relationships.
In approximately 1 or 2 generations, such a depressing and frightening notion as death, along with the process of dying associated with it, will completely disappear from everyday life in the worlds in which new spirituality and new science will successfully put into practice the conceptions of Iissiidiology in respect of the structure of the universe. This will occur not only owing to the newest scientific achievements, but also because completely new forms of highly developed human self-consciousness will be totally free from the ignorant notions of death and egocentrism, and will confidently enter the sphere of high-quality planetary creativity within the nearest 30 years. This will be the creativity of people who will be fully aware of their personality's immortality and will know how to use it for the common well-being. Sex and egoistic personal attachments will no longer prevail in the future worlds. Instead, there will be harmony and individual creative compatibility, coupled with an irresistible altruistic desire of creative realization in something very important, global and useful for all. All the latest technologies and means of communication will be put into life in such places. Completely new relationships in economics, industry, education, culture, philosophy, science and spirituality will be put into practice there. All nations, regardless of their traditional religious beliefs, inspired by the profoundness of the knowledge of Iissiidiology, will sincerely aspire only to a positive interchange and an active creative cooperation. This will eventually lead to an unprecedented global reunion of all spiritually inspired people, and someday the human community will inevitably create one global form of statehood, which will not be divided by any religious, national, economic, territorial or any other selfish interests. Millions of far-fetched social problems caused by egoism will immediately cease to exist, while such notions as responsibility, tolerance, mercy, compassion and others will become the common foundation of spirituality and science, philosophy and culture, politics and economics of the new worlds. This foundation will be fully built on the basis of the unconditional truth that all are united and that it is impossible to separate the creative dynamics of all forms of self-consciousness.
на сотні тисяч